Come on.
It is
How many times we have to? Okay, on the minute.
All right.
30.
Sure. Right.
Oh yeah, Peggy Hill. Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 166 of the Gaming Fyx podcast on April 3rd, 2021. I am your host, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite King of the Hill character. I am joined today by Allison.
Well, I never really watched that much King of the Hill, but I don't know if I have a favorite character.
You should watch King of the Hill.
No, it's good. No, everything I've seen of it is really good. It's just like, it's just something that I never really watched a lot of.
You should remedy that, I'm just going to say. But
Yeah.
So who is your favorite with what little you've seen?
Bobby? Question mark?
Okay, yeah,
I don't know.
that's a good choice. Good choice. Strong choice. Alex.
I might go for Joseph
Okay.
because he's a weirdo.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I mean, they're all weirdos. That's what makes it so good. You know, it's true to life. They're
Yeah.
teenagers.
So other than you, who is your favorite King of the Hill character or your partner's favorite?
Like, I mean, there's so many good choices. It's probably got to be Dale, the Pocket Sand.
Oh, Pocket Sand is classic.
The Winnebuggo.
How about Boomhauer?
Oh, talking about Boomhauer, is a big old dang.
Indeed.
The thing about Boomhauer is all his lines are like actually written out, and he's actually saying things. It's just impossible to like make out unless you like know people who speak like that.
Do people speak like that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Just if you don't know, if you weren't like familiar with that like dialect or like that style of speaking, it just seems ridiculous. But it's based in reality.
Does it have a name?
I don't know, probably, but
It's like chaos language, but in Texas.
Texas chaos language. I love it.
Let's see, what dialect does Boomhauer speak? Is he a cop?
I think it's like, wasn't he like not an FBI agent, but something like that?
It's something ridiculous. Okay, so Mike Judge, the creator, has stated that the inspiration for Boomhauer's voice came from a message left on his answering machine by an irate Beavis and Butthead viewer. Actually, what this quote says, by an irate viewer of Beavis and Butthead, as well as the voice patterns of an acquaintance in Dallas and an Oklahoma City resident reciting directions over the telephone.
Huh.
So, and then the comment after that, for what it's worth, I am from Oklahoma and I understand Boomhauer perfectly. Though I'm not sure this is the case for everyone.
You need to go to Oklahoma, apparently.
Yeah, if you want to understand Boomhauer, you just got to spend like 2 years in Oklahoma getting familiar.
Worth.
Yeah, that maybe. I don't know. The weather's kind of wild, but tornadoes and shit.
Shit tornadoes, indeed.
Beavis and Butthead, shit tornadoes. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Is that the name of this episode? Beavis and Butthead shit tornadoes?
Or Texas chaos language.
Oh, we've got some good options there.
We've got, and we're only a few minutes in. We got a whole episode left to.
Yeah.
What do you think this episode should be titled? Email us at gamingfyx.ca. probably gonna be too late, but oh well.
This episode's already out, so it's already has that title. But
what should our next episode be called?
Yeah.
Right into gaming at Fix.space, and hey, maybe
we'll say maybe we'll do that. Might not make sense in the context of that episode, but hey,
that's fine.
What did that matter for us?
Indeed. Yeah. Like this we talk about like crazy weather. You've got like really weird seasons, and like you can tell a story about each of those seasons. Like when the pioneers of Olive Town made their way to Oklahoma and started their homestead in Olive Town. Homestead.
And then they made like a GeoCities.
Yeah, GeoCities. And then they had like each person had their own space. Like I had my space. And then they had a book of everyone's face, so they could like, facial recognition wasn't a thing, so they had like this big Facebook.
And they were friends with Ters, so like you could call them Friendsters if you needed to.
And then you could hear the birds twitter every morning. And the tick-tock of the clock. Don't stop. DJ, blow my speaker up.
So yeah, Allison, that one.
Save us.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna let you take all of that out. No, what that segue was originally starting and then lost the plot for was Story of Seasons Pioneers of Olive Town.
I watched my girlfriend play this game. I think we were right on.
No, I think it's pretty solid. It's not the best. I feel like, okay, so I think that's interesting is that it feels like it does take like inspiration from both Stardew Valley and then also Animal Crossing New Horizons. And so that works pretty well. But it's like, I feel like if you already like Stardew Valley, I feel like that's like a better game. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you like the kind of aesthetic and feel of classic Harvest Moon or what became Story of Seasons, I think it's still really pretty fun. So so I've been playing that. I haven't played very much yet, but it's I think solid. And
this is the original Harvest Moon team, right? Because they like got like let go or something, and then Harvest Moon was given to another team that hasn't made a good game, it sounds like.
Yeah, so basically it's just all in the localization. Okay, so it's like still the original Harvest Moon developers and Harvest Moon thing, but the localization that has the rights to the name Harvest Moon split from this team that had Story of Seasons. So they kept the rights to the name, but they didn't have the rights to distribute the game. So there's like, okay, let's just make our own Harvest Moon. And it's still called Harvest Moon, but it's not Harvest Moon. It's very weird. So anyway, and they're all kind of like not the best.
Wasn't there a weird game that had like almost a similar story that came out last year?
Was it the Rune Factory?
No, I'll do some research in the background.
There is the Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town remake.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, there was another Story of Seasons that came out last year.
Maybe
because it was a remake of the Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, but it's now Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town because everybody loves hearing about rights disputes.
Okay, yeah, maybe it was that I'm thinking of. It's such a weird story.
Yeah, well, it's also like it's very weird because it's like you like I really, I grew up playing the Harvest Moon series and I really love that series, but it's like if you liked that series growing up, you might see the latest Harvest Moon game and go, "Oh, that's the one I want to play because I remember that Harvest Moon." And it's like, "No, you can't do that. You got to play Story of Seasons now because that's the
Oh,
real series, not the fake series."
I
Anyways,
was thinking of that Cooking Mama game that came out for like a
oh,
minute and then it uncame out.
and then people were saying like, "Is it mining Bitcoin?"
Right.
Yeah, that whole thing. Now that game's
Yeah.
gone, right? Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They took it
apparently
down
that was
within a
like
day.
rights disputes too.
Yeah, that was right.
yeah, they weren't. The holder was like, "No, why is this game out?" And then the developers were
Yeah.
just, "We put it
Yeah.
out." I don't know.
Anyways, that's much ado about nothing, but that's what I was thinking of earlier.
Yeah. So, yeah, which Cooking Mama is another series where I'm like, I like that series, but it would be nice if it was good. Anyways, uh, Story Seasons, not Friends of Olive Town, Pioneers of Olive Town. So the thing that feels very Animal Crossing inspired is that basically you are starting with very little. Like you have a tent and you have a plot of land and they're like, this is a farm, make it a farm. So you have to like keep building it up. And I think it's pretty easy to get the like get an actual house. Like I'm almost there to getting a house, and I've only played for like an hour or two, so it's not very, not exactly like difficult, but otherwise you have to kind of build up your farm from kind of scratch with like that with crafting. Like there's a really dilapidated building on the farm where you're like, this is going to be where I keep my animals, but this is my barn, but like I have to fix up this dilapidated barn. Okay, here's a bridge that I don't know where it goes to, got to figure out how to do that. So it kind of has that similar vibe to that, but then also in like Stardew Valley, you have skills that you're increasing, and you have which I don't remember honestly if other Harvest Moon games have had that kind of similar thing where it's like you chop enough wood and then you're better at chopping wood, or you catch a lot of fish and you're better at catching fish. So but it feels like they saw these two other popular things and are like, all right, let's kind of fit it in here with our game, and I think it works. But I think the thing that really sets this series apart is just kind of generally the aesthetic and vibe of it all, which is just pleasant. And that's kind of what I was going for when I bought it, because I was like, I had like kind of a tricky week at work, and I was a little bit like, I just want to play something really cozy, and that's what I go for these kinds of games for, is like just that kind of cozy vibe. So it's really quite good for that, and I'm actually really interested to see where it goes, because it's feels fairly limited right now, but also I know that it kind of expands a little bit more. More mechanics will show up, and I'm excited to see where that goes. The other thing that I found was very funny was that you can buy, like, when you go and buy animals, instead of being like, want to buy a horse, it's like they tell you that you're going to buy a mount, which I thought was very funny.
Can you get like a cow or something, or like a
maybe
can you get like a
you could definitely get
chocobo?
cows, but
Can you get this is that game where we talked about it like a month or so ago, where
right,
there
yeah.
was the bug where you can get divorced in the game.
Right,
Oh,
exactly.
right.
But you can, like, they included divorce in the game, but if you have a child with your partner and you get divorced, the child just ceases to exist.
Yeah.
You cannot recover that child. That is this game.
Right, I forgot about that. Huh.
So Yep. Interesting little bug, but
No, it's not a bug, it's a feature.
right.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no,
Well,
I personally, it's just like I played Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life when I was a kid, so it's like very, very, very nostalgic for me. So just kind of
Mhm.
like want that cozy vibe. Do
So
that.
what?
The other thing is that there is a photo mode now, which I think is kind of neat because I think that you can actually give those over to the museum, which I think is a cool idea. And other games that have that kind of museum thing, I'm like, you should do something like that because that's neat. But apparently, in the loading screens, the photos that you see are photos taken by somebody else or by other players, and so that could get weird. But
It's gonna be a bunch
you're
of
like,
bugs.
all right.
All right. Well,
But-
that's yeah.
I'm just curious, what prevents it from being excellent? Like, what
Um,
about it makes it just okay?
Um, it just feels like, in terms of immediate features, Stardew Valley is kind of the thing to beat right now. Just because there's so much space, there is so much to do, and it's like even if you don't have access to it, it's pretty clear. Look, there's all this to do for like coming up in the future to work towards, and I feel
Sure.
like it's like most of these kinds of farming games feel like, I don't know if I'd agree with it, but like I feel like if you're somebody who comes from Stardew Valley, you might go, oh, this is kind of watered down Stardew Valley, and I think that it's like part of it is a little bit more chill because Stardew Valley is chill, but like there's a lot to do, and you could easily get yourself overwhelmed because if you want to, do all of the community center quests and stuff, and you have to do that before the end of the month, and it's just like I feel like it's like Harvest Moon's a little bit more relaxing, but at the same time, you're like, hey, it would be nice to have a little bit more. But again, I don't know necessarily. Like, I'm still pretty early on, and they like Animal Crossing kind of drip feed new mechanics to you every day, where they're like, here, now you can do this. But it's like every day in game versus every day in real life, like Animal Crossing, which is the problematic and tough. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm interested to see more of where it goes because right now it just doesn't feel like there's a whole lot to do. But also but also like maybe it'll expand a little bit more and I'll see, oh, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Sure. Yeah. When you're
If there's
only that
robots in
far
disguise.
in, then
Right. It's hard to
the
tell.
roll that's amount you can get Optimus Prime.
Oh man,
Game
but
of
he's
the
a
year.
horse.
can ride a cassette tape player.
Yeah, exactly. That's I just had the most like ridiculous thought because this is what Riverdale does to your brain.
Oh no.
Just because like Riverdale's filled with anachronisms, and like in recent episodes they were using like cassette tapes to listen to like recordings of something. I don't want to spoil what it was for Allison because I don't know if she knows the thing. Anyway, I was like, so you said cassette tape, and it made me think like, what if they did a Riverdale Transformers crossover? instead of Shia LaBeouf, it's instead of Shia LaBeouf, Sam Witwicky or whatever, it's Archie Andrews because he joined the military, so the movie's already like a military movie. and Archie Andrews and Jughead, Betty, Veronica all have to help the Autobots save the world.
And Mila Jovovich.
Hell yeah.
What if they're Andre, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What would be your ideal Riverdale video game?
Oh, it would 100% be a Telltale game.
Huh.
I think we've discussed this on the podcast before. I think
Have we?
I feel like I have said at some point I want a Riverdale Telltale game, or at least I've tweeted about it, and it would just be so good. And you could like just like extremely Jughead voice. Archie Andrews was filled with determination.
I could see like a bully type thing working too.
Sure, yeah, you could do so much. It is a broad canvas that can you could do a sports game that features the epic highs and lows of high school football.
You could do a bullet hell.
You could do a bullet hell. You could maybe you could do like a mystery game, like a visual, like a with Somnium Files type thing, or like a 999 type thing. There's so many things you could. Danganronpa.
Do a hidden object game.
Oh yeah, you could I Spy. You could do like a what's that? Hypnospace Outlaw. That could be. You could make that about Riverdale.
God.
You could do like a management sim, like a business management sim
For Pops.
For the Blossom, the maple syrup. You could do it for the La Bonne Nuit. There are so many businesses you could manage. There are a lot of things you could do with a Riverdale game, and the fact that there aren't like a million, like I would play a Riverdale gotcha game.
Oh my god, I would too.
It'd be so stupid.
And to be clear, there are so many characters, and you could have so many like rare versions.
Oh
of
yeah,
the characters like Josie and the Pussycats, Veronica, like with her pearls on her headband for whatever reason, and you're just like, with
punished
pearls, without
Jughead.
Pearls, punished Jughead. That is more of a thing than you might think.
That is, I'm like, you say this and as a joke, but I'm like, oh yeah, yep, that's right.
Venom. You got Venom Jughead. You got Liquid Jughead. Solid Jughead.
You say this. Andre knows, like he's saying this, and it's like kind of accurate though.
Yeah.
So Riverdale is secretly just a Metal Gear like continuation of that story.
I mean,
Riverdale is everything.
The game is called the Southside Serpents, so snakes are a thing.
Yep, the Pretty Poisons. That's they're like the girl like subsect, like the high school girl subsect of the Southside Serpents. Yeah, HBIC Cheryl.
I love Cheryl.
There's a lot of there's a lot of unknowns here.
Oh, sure. Plenty of unknowns.
And that might make us just wash ashore in these unknowns.
Wow. Oh, wow. Segueing into my game. I see how it is. Yeah. Shores Unknown. I played this like 2 years ago almost. Like
great.
Yeah, no, well, I'm playing it now, but I first played it like 2 years ago at Bit Summit. And
I have not played it since.
No, I talked about it when I played it then, but it's now out in early access on Steam. Cool. It's how much is it? It's $20. It's on sale until the 6th for $17. Nice. And the price is going to go up once it comes out. So just get that out of the way. If it sounds good to you from my description, maybe go pick it up. So Shores Unknown it's an RPG, and it's like Baldur's Gate, or like, that kind of isometric RPG meets RuneScape meets like Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Hmm.
Yeah, like specifically the combat of Like a Dragon, not so much like the writing or anything like that. It's not that ridiculous. And like the RuneScape comparison is, it's like sort of that lo-fi, low poly look. It's higher fidelity than a RuneScape. And it's not isometric, but it's like you can count like the vertices on like the characters' heads and stuff like that.
It's like a PS1 game.
Sure. It's very pretty, and it's just not a lot of polygons in these characters, which is fine. Sure. It looks good. So in the game, you're playing as, let me pull up the names. I can't remember names lately. You're playing as Morton, and you're a mercenary traveling with your sister Ren, being sent off by some like great adventurer to an area in the north of the land because of some like prophecy that's come down that says a boat from the north is going to come, and we haven't had like any boats from the north in like 200 years or something like that. So you're like going to like see what's up, check it out, see what happens. Things start to go bad pretty quick. You're met with some bandits. You take on the bandits, and you find your friend Sigvard, who was supposed to meet you there. He was trapped. Sigvard is hot. He is just like, beautiful man.
Nice.
He's like dark skin, swooping red hair, like, like undercut kind of, like as much as you can do an undercut with this kind of art style. He's got like this mustache and beard. He's just like, he is hot, and he's your mage. Then so you get to the island, or not the island, you get to the town, and it turns out when the boats show up, which does happen, things go bad real quick, and like some like magic-y stuff starts happening, and you get dragged into a plot against the crown, like the king of the kingdom you're from, and like your whole party and like your guild or like mercenary group is all like on the shit list for some reason. So your whole thing is like trying to figure out what is going on, why you're being targeted, and why the crown seems so eager to cover up what happened in that village where you were when the boats came in. So that's kind of like the setup for the story. The gameplay, it's not isometric. It's just like third person. You're running around the world. They're like not huge areas. They're like kind of instanced zones, sort of like a Dragon Age Inquisition, but on like a smaller scale, like much smaller scale.
Sure.
But you got like, okay, I'm in one zone and I run over here and then I just run into the next zone. Classic stuff. And then you've got, your points of interest, you're picking up quests and finding loot and all that good stuff. You can have up to 5 people in your team. And then when you get into combat, like I said, that's where it becomes like Yakuza Like a Dragon. I've also saw someone compare it to Last Remnant, which I never played. But what the combat system is, it's turn-based RPG, but everyone is just kind of running freely about the combat area, which in a lot of ways makes it feel very organic, because people are just like, oh, I'm going to run over here and I'm going to attack this guy, or the enemies are. And you've got things like attacks of opportunity from Dungeons and Dragons and other, role-playing games. So if like an enemy runs past you, and be like, hey, stop that, and whack them with a stick, or axe or whatever it is you have.
Walk.
Yep. Go to horny jail.
Yep.
And it makes it feel really organic when people are just like running all over the place and you're targeting. And then if an enemy you attack dies, then you can refocus your attacks elsewhere, or your AI will just be like, oh, I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to be like, oh, this person needs to be healed now, so I'm going to heal them because I can't do the thing I was assigned to before. So it's pretty smart with that stuff. The combat is tough, but fair. I'd say it's very fair. Like, there's no permadeath or anything like that, at least not so far in the game. There's no difficulty selection. And maybe the auto saves could be a little more generous, but that's, you can save freely as you want, so it's not too much of an issue. But it definitely like puts you up against some tough enemies early on and wants to test your combat ability. But because there's no permadeath and everyone still levels up even if they get downed in battle, and everyone just goes back to full health at the end of a fight, it feels very forgiving and accessible in that way, even if the battles are difficult. Like, you're not going to be put in like a impossible position because you didn't bring enough healing or something like that. So that's all really nice.
How are you, like, is there a leveling system? Like, do you start at level 1 and you progress, or is it all gear?
It's so there's both. There's gear and levels, but you're not like choosing abilities or going down a skill tree or anything like that. You're just like every character, at least so far. I think there's some more options planned later on down the road and like more variation in like the early access path. But let's see. Unlock new classes. Yeah, I think it's mostly just you get multiple characters for your party, and then you can swap those in and out. And that's how you kind of customize your party. But aside from that, everyone just like levels up, and you find new gear, and you give them the gear to improve their performance in fights. Yeah. It's supposed to be in early access for like about a year. So we'll see how that goes. It's the entirety of chapter 1 and half of chapter 2 are currently in the game, and they're adding stuff. They've got like a roadmap set out, like sometime in the summer they're going to add the second half of chapter 2 and I believe part of chapter 3, and there's going to be 4 chapters total, I believe. I'm still in chapter 1, but I think it's like 6 hours of content in the current. Like something like 6 hours of content in the current thing, but up to 20 to 30 in the final release is their plan. And it's very fun. It's got pretty good writing. It's funny enough and like not super dry or anything. Like, I'm intrigued by what's going on in the story. They set up a pretty good mystery and like tension right off the bat. And it's made by a Russian developer living in Japan.
Oh, interesting.
So that's, yeah. And the story is all in English right now. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's going to come to Switch, I believe. That's what I played it on at Bit Summit. Now I'm playing on Steam because early access is not on Switch, but I believe it'll be on Switch when it does come out eventually. So for all you Switch gamers, Allison, it's neat.
Sounds neat.
I'm enjoying it. It's got quite a big map. I'm not sure how many areas we'll actually be going to, how much of that is like condensed into like the small, like the individualized areas and stuff like that. But I'm looking forward to playing more, and I definitely want to. The characters are interesting. Like, I like the art, even though it's like very simple. It's very
There's something
good
kind of
character
nostalgic
design
about that kind of like RuneScape kind of vibe, you know?
Yep. Yeah, that's like part of it. Is like, oh man, RuneScape. But this is better than RuneScape.
Just the vibe of playing RuneScape back in the day where you're like, I have 0 video games. This is free, so I'm going to do that.
What
Great.
I paid $5 a month to play RuneScape, to like have like the member stuff and like go
Oh,
into like
wow. Fancy.
the member areas and have all the extra stuff. But now I pay $15 a month less, $77 per 6 months to play the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy 14.
That was a good segue. Good job.
Yeah.
Nice.
From one RPG to another. We're all playing it. We told Al last week, we were like, Allison, you should play Final Fantasy 14 and the free trial, which includes the critically acclaimed Heavensward.
It does.
And now you're doing it.
It's good. It's a good game. It's your fault that I'm into it, but you know, it's good.
Is it our fault, or is it what's a good version of a fault?
A little bit of both, because now I'm like, oh no, this is becoming a thing for me. It's a good game. I don't know. I feel like the thing that I noted to other people about it is that I feel like for other times I've tried to get into an MMO, I've been like, okay, let's push forward through the good to get to the good stuff. Whereas now I'm already enjoying it, and it's still pretty early on for me. So I'm excited to see where it goes, because I've heard it goes really good places with the story from Alex. But I'm already enjoying it pretty early on. So
where are you?
I'm still really early. Let's see, got the airship pass. So I've been traveling around there. Okay. What was the last thing that I was doing?
Well, you've done some duties, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to go join with the group why am I blanking on their names? The two NPCs that have hung out with you a couple times.
Oh, the Seven Scions.
Yeah, exactly. I'm almost there.
Okay. Yeah, that's where like the story kind of like finally you start getting the story there, kind of. So
yeah, and I think if you're already enjoying it, it's just going to go up for you, because when you start encountering these characters, like they're the core of the game. Like
they're cool. I like them a lot.
Yeah,
like the two that you've seen before.
Well, so Ida and Poplimo, right? Because you were in Gridania.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good.
So
I like them a lot.
Depending on the starting city, you meet a different character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I guess
like
that makes sense.
If you start in Limsa, you meet Y'shtola and Thancred, I think.
Thancred's in isn't Thancred in Oldana?
Might be. But yeah, I know it was definitely Y'shtola.
Yeah. And Limsa, Y'shtola. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. I finished the Praetorium, which is the final the first final duty of Realm Reborn, like
for the first credits,
1 or 2.0 or 1.0, whatever they called it. So I got to the first credits, and now I still have to go. Like everyone's doing the Evangelion, like we're gonna clap for you thing as I run into like the Sultanate or whatever.
Congratulations.
But I had to stop and like prepare dinner after that. I was like, come on, let's wrap it up. Like this is going on a long time.
Yeah, the Praetorium takes its sweet time with you.
Yeah, and like the fights, it's like a Metal Gear thing. It's like here's like a long cut scene and then a very short fight, and then another long cut scene and then an even shorter fight.
Well, the funny thing about the Praetorium is it's what, 16 people, I think. 16 people.
Eight,
or is it 8? Okay,
8. Yeah, it's 8.
I can't remember because I haven't done it in like a year. But generally, the people who are joining you with it are people who are doing the duty roulette, so they're like higher level people that are helping out lower level people with queues.
Yeah.
So they know what they're doing, so they're just going to rush through it incredibly fast.
Yep.
Because they know the optimal path, and you're just kind of come along for the ride.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. That's what happened.
Yeah.
So that was an experience, but like also it wasn't like I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything really, because it does just like pull you forward, and like there weren't any like interesting puzzles or anything like that in it. So
yeah,
it's
pretty straightforward. I will say The Praetorium is probably the worst of the duties. Everything after that is good. Like, and they learn a lot. They learn a lot of lessons from it. Like, they're like,
Yeah, I'm
okay,
sure.
we recognize what we did wrong, and we fixed all of them. So,
yeah. So I'm gonna keep making my way. I paid for 6 months of subscription, so I better use it. How's your journey going, Alex?
dog. Yeah, so I'm way further than either of you, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I started this like a year ago. I
started playing like 2 years. I started playing when Shadowbringers came out, and then I fell off right at the end of Realm Reborn. So I just replayed through all of it because I was like, I don't remember how to tank. I don't know anything.
Totally. Yeah. Like, I had also stepped away from it for like, what, 2 or 3 months near the end of the year because we were doing Game of the Year stuff, and I just couldn't give it the time it needed and the focus because there's a lot of story in the last parts. So yeah, jumping back in, that was hard because I picked one of the harder DPS classes in terms of like it has lots of micromanagement. Summoner.
Okay.
Like, level 80 Summoner has a lot of micromanagement. So jumping right back into like level 75 dungeons or whatever I was at the time was like, oh God, I need to reteach myself how to play this video game because it's relatively
time to
involved.
go and time to start at the bottom of the duty roulette and just work my way back up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I have now over the past month or two gotten reacquainted and feel comfy with it. And I finished 5.3 last night, which I've heard a lot of people saying, like, people speak highly of Shadowbringers as a whole and specifically point out that 5.3 is probably a high point of the series. And by series, I mean Final Fantasy, like not just Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
And it was really good. Yeah. Like, I can totally see why people would say that. I think my expectations were set a little high, so I was expecting it to go even crazier, but it was just really good. Like, it was a good story told really well. And I don't want to get into why, because it's the kind of thing that changes the state of the world in a lot of ways. And they do well by it, and it seems earned. And also, I had not been spoiled on what happens somehow. And it's worth going in.
So
yeah, it's worth going in unspoiled and without looking that stuff up, because they make some choices that you wouldn't expect in a good way.
All right. They join the Fast and Furious gang to do a heist. Yeah. And Dominic Toretto drives a Dodge Charger down the streets of Uldana.
I thought that was known. That was in the trailer. Like,
I haven't watched the trailer, so I'm keyed in with what the developers are thinking.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry it's so predictable, Andre.
Yeah, it's
but no, it's good.
Great. They everyone's like putting their movies out on streaming services like Disney Plus, Peacock, HBO Max, and the Fast and that's the CBS, NBC. That's the one. NBC streaming.
Oh, I guess the name makes sense.
It's a solid one. I use it.
But they've but Fast and Furious, they're like, no, we know where the true fans are. We're going to stream Fast and Furious 9 and Final Fantasy 14. And that's going to come in patch 5.5.
In like 10 days or something.
Yeah. 5.5. Unto Towards Death Dawn, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. Where is it? Death Unto Dawn. There we go. Death Unto Dawn featuring Fast and Furious 9. It's like the Fortnite events with like Travis Scott, Lil Nas, but it's Fast and Furious.
Lil Nas X, wasn't that in Roblox?
Was it Roblox? Well,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Pretty sure. I don't know. I'm not a child.
What? You're not using Roblox every day?
No, I'm not.
Wow. How dare you?
It's too complex for
Casual.
me. I'm a little baby.
Ooh,
best I can do is play. It's a real game.
One other thing I'll say for later game Final Fantasy 14 is it gets real fucking hard. Like it gets very difficult. Even part of the main story quest. Some of the
Oh god,
some
I'm
of
a
the
little
stuff
bit
you're
nervous
doing,
at that.
but it eases you into it. It's a very like it's not a wall that you're going to hit. It's very gradual. It's not like, JRPG style of you hit level 70 and to get to level 75, it's just a massive spike in difficulty. It's not anything like that, but it's tough. I went through the currently existing Nier raids, the Yorha raids. Some of those are hard, man. Like
I've heard some of the raid mechanics, like, and I'm just like, what the fuck? And Destiny's got real weird mechanics too, so I've done those, but it's definitely a thing where like playing on console, like I'm gonna have to like get on Discord with like a group and be like, okay, what do I do?
Oh yeah, totally. Some of those are, I'd imagine, would be impossible without voice chat. Like you could maybe get away with, like there are ways to mark where you're going or like, hey, do this thing as a priority, but like yeah, some of the raid mechanics I have not gotten to like the really intense ones. But oh sorry, Allison, were you saying something?
No, I was just coughing.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something, sorry. But like there's stuff like where one person is going to have to take aggro of this one projectile so that it hits this one thing and then spreads out to like these 3 other people in very specific places so that they can carry those sub projectiles other places and then make sure that like they're far away from everyone else so it doesn't wipe the entire team.
Whereas, literally just sounds like Destiny.
Sure. But it's so hard to communicate that if you're not in some form of voice chat or if you're not familiar with what's going to happen kind of stuff. Well, obviously for sure. That's like any raid, but so I don't know how you communicate.
The Praetorium, you didn't need to know anything. It was just
you are walking through a movie basically. But yeah, I will say 5.3 did have, I forget, in A Realm Reborn, do you have the instanced duties where it's like just you, it's just solo?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But so there's like not like a full thing, but you'd have like instanced like, oh, you're gonna get pulled into this like little combat scenario.
Right. So those get a little bit more involved as you go on, and like sometimes it'll be things you have to queue for, but sometimes it'll be these instance ones where it's just you, and those tend to be a little bit more story heavy for the instance ones. And I went through one in 5.3 that I would say is probably the best in the whole game by far. Okay. Like in my opinion, I'd have to talk with some people who have also played it and see where they fall on it, but I would say it's extremely good. I think it's called Faded Memories, and it's really really excellent. So if anyone's listened to this and knows Faded Memories, send me a message on gaming@fix.space or at or Fix Podcasts on Twitter, because I thought that was extremely well done.
Man, we fucked up. Did like any of us use like the recruitment thing on Allison so we could get her like to sign up and then we get all the bonuses? Dang. Nope. Oh well. If you would like to sign up for the trial, hit us up on Twitter and we can recruit you and we'll all get something for it.
Yeah, mutually beneficial. Totally lost what I was going to say. Never mind.
No, sorry, but trying to get us those chocobo feathers. Bonus XP, all right, well, that's Final Fantasy 14 Game of the Year 2021. Maybe we'll see
if we want to talk about it. Maybe when Endwalker comes out. But
I have no problem saying Endwalker is Game of the Year, but assuming I get to it and play it, but that's a whole other thing. Endwalker is the end of the current like saga, right? And then they're basically starting a new story afterwards. They're like in the 5.1 or whatever.
Yeah, like they've said, well, 6.1, but
6.1, yeah.
but they've said that it will essentially be the end of like the story of the Scions, if you want to think of it that way, like that saga.
Yeah. So like Realm Reborn to Endwalker is like a saga, the Skywalker saga, and then as 6.1 will be the start of the Ray Binks saga.
Oh my god. Yes. Absolutely. Oh man, Endwalker seems really interesting. It's by the same writer who did
I know nothing about it.
It's the same writer who did Shadowbringers. So yeah.
Okay.
That's very appealing.
What did Creative Business Unit 2 make? Didn't they do something?
Now
they're doing,
I think,
16, but
they're also, I think they're a big part of 5.5, the patch that's coming out in 10 days. They put out a trailer yesterday, and I saw their logo all up on there.
Oh yeah, they do a lot of things, but I guess they're lead on 16, or no, Creative Business Unit 3. I don't know.
Love their naming schemes.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's Creative Business Unit 3.
Oh.
Yeah, so they did Heavensward. They were on Heavensward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, Endwalker, now 16.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Well, hey, we got through all our games in less than an hour this week.
Wow.
Nice.
That means it's on to news, which this week there's a little bit, not too much, nothing too ridiculous happened.
What are you talking about? Look at our first story.
Our first story is like indispensable news.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, a gacha game that came out in 2018.
Yeah.
Based on the modern franchise of Looney Tunes, is adding Big Chungus, which is just it's big Bugs Bunny.
Big Chungus, yeah, everyone's favorite Big Chungus
from like a real old Warner Brothers cartoon.
I was looking it up, and
why this is happening now, I don't know.
There's a for that cartoon where it came from, which is from the short Wabbit Twubble, which I don't like saying it like that.
I do know why they're doing it, and it's because people like us will talk about it on a podcast.
Yep. No, they're right.
Yes.
It worked.
They got us.
So is Big Chungus the canonical name?
No.
Or
no.
Was it okay?
That was Big Chungus was like it's like small bean is like the opposite of a small bean it's a Big Chungus. And
it was just like there was like
pupper and stuff like that,
little small bit of the short where Bugs Bunny looks like that, and it's not necessarily like named, like it's still Bugs Bunny.
He's just making fun of Elmer Fudd or whatever. So Big Chungus is just it's just a meme, a thing you call things, and then for some reason this picture became a meme on its own, and then they started calling him Big Chungus, and then 2 years later here comes the Warner Brothers with their gacha game going, Big Chungus.
Well, they also they put out like a 7-second trailer, which is literally just the world and then Big Chungus appearing behind it as though it's the sun. Do any of you actually know like what kind of game is it? Like
according to this
it's a gacha,
Kotaku story, Looney Tunes World of Mayhem is a mobile game in the vein of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and Marvel Strike Force.
Oh.
So it's like a
like a light art action RPG.
I think it's let me look it up because I've not played those games either, but they're kind of let's see, you got stars. It's kind of like you set them up and they battle. Like I don't know if it's turn based, but it's like kind of like an auto battler maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so you just set up, you make a team, and then they fight other teams.
How big is Big Chungus gonna be on that screen? Like I don't have scale for A, the other Looney Tunes, and B, Big Chungus compared
I mean,
comparatively to the other
it's
ones.
just like if
Like
you
a large rabbit.
if you yeah, it's just if you filled Bugs Bunny up with like too much water and he got real bloated,
Okay.
It's who you call Big Chungus.
or he had like a thyroid problem or
Oh
something.
my god. I love it when you call me Big Chungus.
There's your title.
Oh, there has to be a remix, right?
I don't know. That's if there is, that can be our opening music.
Oh,
I love
Biggie
it
Like
Smalls.
when you call me Big Chungus. Well,
No, that doesn't seem to exist that I can see.
yeah, I'm not surprised.
There is the notorious B.I.G. Chungus, though.
Notorious Big Chungus. Wow. All right. Well, that's Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. Big Chungus coming at you. Why? I don't know.
Why not?
Anyway. Well, I mean, again, we know because it makes people write stupid stories and talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
We gave in. We lost. We have failed. Journalistic integrity in the toilet.
Oh. Nothing. I got nothing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Next up, the console war is over because they can't compete with Big Chungus.
True.
Yeah.
Because everyone has laid down their arms. The controllers have fallen to the wayside. Everyone picked up their smartphone and downloaded Looney Tunes World of Mayhem.
Yeah, adaptive triggers be damned.
Well, adaptive triggers be damned indeed, as MLB The Show 21 makes it onto the Xbox on Allison's birthday.
Oh, is it
420?
Yeah, my birthday is 420.
Oh, I didn't see
Nice.
the date came out. Nice.
I didn't see the date either, so I was like, oh.
Yeah, the happy birthday to Allison.
Yeah.
Your favorite game, MLB The Show.
On a service that I don't use. All right.
Well, but you
Solid
have a PlayStation 5.
It's all 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
in
I
advance.
do.
Where you can pay $70, or if you're an Xbox gamer, for the first time ever, you can play MLB The Show on your Xbox. Is it only on the Series consoles?
Not
Like
sure.
SX, or I'm not sure about that, but you can play it on Game Pass day one,
which
is kind of a coup for Microsoft on that, because this
Yeah, it's a
game,
little-
the series, has been Sony exclusive for years. Like, it's developed by Sony.
Yeah, since its inception, right?
Yeah, it's
Like-
been the only MLB game,
I mean-
licensed MLB game around, like baseball sim, for a while.
I would like to get Chris's opinion on this, because
Mm-hmm.
I think Chris is more entwined with that kind of series, much more so than I am,
Mhm.
and I imagine Pat a little bit too. But
Jeff Davis, friend of the site, also a fan of the show, apparently.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it seems like a big move on either Sony or Microsoft side. I can't tell which. Like, I wonder who propositioned who.
So one of the things I'm seeing is that MLB is publishing on Microsoft on the Xbox.
Oh.
So they,
Huh.
I don't know if that's legit, but yeah, that is one of the things. Like, one of the explanations people are putting out there is that the MLB was like, yeah, we'll take that money to put it on Game Pass. We don't care.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So.
Huh. It's made by San Diego Studios, and it has been since the start. And the parent company of San Diego Studios is SIE. So it will be a Sony developed first party game on the Xbox.
On Game Pass.
On Game Pass, yeah. Good point. That's
That's
really
the
interesting.
wild. That's the real wild thing is that it's on Game Pass. Like it being on Xbox is like whatever. Yeah, who cares? Like that's
I
fine.
still think it's pretty important. But by the way, it is coming to Xbox One as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's important, but it's not like that wild. Like there have been Microsoft games like Minecraft and like things like that.
Sure.
And then like Microsoft has done like Ori on the Switch and things like that.
Yeah, and Cuphead.
Yeah, and like that's come around, even though they said Cuphead will never go to PlayStation, and then it did. Like, but this is just like because those games, like aside from the Ori developer is owned by Microsoft, but like the show is like a big game for Sony, and like it's one of the best sports games, is my understanding.
Yeah.
In terms of production and not being gross and riddled with microtransactions in the way like a 2K game or an EA game are. So yeah, it's I wonder. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's a real wild.
Yeah, it sets a weird precedent. I mean, obviously Sony's been putting some of their stuff on PC recently. Like I think Days Gone is still on the way, I think, sometime later this year. And like you have your Horizons and such. Mm-hmm. So it seems like they're willing to kind of stretch their legs out and just say, yeah, we'll try other things. But
sure.
I don't know if that's motivated. Like, I don't know what the motivation is. Like, is that them saying, hey, we just want more sales, or like, I don't know.
Are you talking about the show specifically?
No, I'm just Sony as a whole with their their willingness to spread their wings like that. And like, are we going to see more Sony properties on the Xbox?
Well, I mean, the show is because the MLB was like, hey, if you don't open this up to more, we're going to take the license and renegotiate with someone else. And so I was like, okay, we'll play ball.
Right, but like whatever the impetus was, it's happened now, and like that cork has been popped.
So if Disney or Marvel came to Sony and was like, hey, you got to put Spider-Man on other consoles, or we'll take the license or whatever, those deals are kind of done. But when they come up for renegotiation or whatever,
who
knows? And like, if Sony has shown a willingness to say, okay, we'll develop and we'll put on other consoles, you'll probably get the better experience on PlayStation. But there's no reason that they couldn't, it might get like put out to a port house, like, an Iron Galaxy type studio to port to that other console. But that's, I'd be, same thing with like Microsoft. If Indiana Jones is going to be on Xbox and PlayStation because they're like, hey, let's go multi-platform, that would be fine. That'd be good, even if it's on Game Pass on Xbox and not on PlayStation. Like, that's okay. Like, it'd be nice if Sony tried to compete with that. Their PlayStation Plus offerings recently have been good compared to Microsoft games with Gold, which have not been good. So they're at least delivering on like one front with like new games, like AAA games, like their own first party stuff recently. Things like Ratchet, Horizon, now it's Days Gone, stuff like that. So hopefully, or it's about to be Days Gone. It's about to be Days Gone. I can't remember what it was last month.
I think that's this month. Yeah.
But yeah, so Sony is like putting stuff out there, but it's not on like the same volume as Microsoft. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of Microsoft and the Xbox Series X and volume, they're going to be officially producing Xbox Series X mini fridges because they won some Twitter poll. Yeah, they won some Twitter poll, and they said if we win this, we'll make the Series X mini fridge and we'll sell them.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Like, so they won the poll. They're now going to make the mini fridge.
That's great.
Yeah. That's not a lot to say other than nice job committing to the bit.
I mean, this won't be the first time we've said this, but I think Phil Spencer's reign of Xbox has really turned everything about it around.
Mhm.
And this feels like something that would happen under his reign.
It's just
Like-
it was like, the thing was like favorite like social media account or whatever, like brand social
Oh.
media account, and it was like
Okay.
Skittles versus Xbox, and Xbox came out on top.
Does Skittles have a social media account?
Oh,
Is
of
it good?
course. So it was like a Twitter account, and I don't know. I've never seen this Skittles Twitter account. So
Should be that pickle one. I don't remember the brand, but
Vlasic, Dill,
Yeah,
no,
that's the one.
Dill, Vlasic, the
It is
Pelican
Vlasic.
or whatever.
yeah, they have a good Twitter account.
Vlasic, sponsor our podcast.
Well,
When I have a hamburger, I always reach for one particular type of pickle. Insert pickle
So-
brand here.
it's a gherkin. It's a cornichon.
Quit jerking me around.
Never.
So yeah, just look for X. They made those Series X fridges and like gave those to like people like Snoop Dogg and stuff, and so now they're gonna do the mini fridge. That's
Were those full size fridges?
yeah,
Yeah.
like they're committed. Like, you know, that's like, you know, you stick a skin, like a D brand skin on a fridge, like whatever. But yeah, it's silly. Unless you can actually put a DVD or a Blu-ray in there, that'd be something.
What D brand would you put on your fridge?
The Linus Tech Tips one.
Oh, just his face.
Yeah, I showed you my tech tip.
Yeah. Did you see? We don't have it in news. Did you see what happened with them this week or yesterday? I should say
1% on OnlyFans, top
Yeah.
1%.
They made
Because
a
of their
joke.
April Fool's joke.
God.
Yeah, they, as a joke for April Fools, they made an OnlyFans account, and within a day, it became the top like 0.1% of OnlyFans, and they're like, "Oh shit, do we continue this or what?"
They shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
But they said they were talking about like if there's a place that like if there's a way they could legitimately do stuff there, like it would be a direct way for their fans to support them, like in much way
Yeah.
the same way of Float Plane or whatever. But
Like a Patreon, but Patreon's got its own issues. But I feel like if LTT gets big on there, then other people are going to try and go on there and get big, and then it's going to run into the same problems that like a Patreon did with like the sex work stuff, probably, maybe, as like they try and get more investment and stuff like that. Who knows?
the only thing I've heard, and we can move on after that, is the reason they're hesitant is because they're a business. If it was an individual, they'd probably be okay with it, but like they don't want to set a precedent for a business being there.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Next up, the final casualty of the console wars, which are now over. Mario has been laid to rest.
God,
Rip.
finally.
21 Koopa salute.
21 bullet bill salute. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
dude, 21 bullet bill salute. Sure. That's just doesn't roll off the tongue as well. Nintendo kept their word and executed Mario on March 31st,
This
2021.
article from CNN Business: Super Mario Brothers fans are panicking over rumors that Mario is gonna die.
Yeah, the mainstream
Oh,
media reporting was so funny on this.
It was very good.
Because they're like, "What's happening? Why is Mario dead?" It's so
A bunch of boomers who only know Mario and Pac-Man. So yeah, that
Nintendo
was
rumor: is Mario going to die? Is this the end of Super Mario?
so it is the end of Super Mario 35 and
All-Stars.
Super Mario 64,
3D
Sunshine, and
Galaxy
what's
1.
the other? Galaxy 1. Those games are no longer available for sale. You could probably find them being like sold at a premium now, which will presumably only go up over time on third-party sites.
Yeah,
And
as
there
NFTs.
Yeah, non-fungible Marios. there was a quote going around. It was anonymous. It was like from a Nintendo developer partner, but it was basically someone saying, yeah, the reason they do this is it's to drum up scarcity, create false scarcity and get people to buy it. Because with a lot of remasters, people put them in like their wish list and they just sit there.
And they just forget about it. I mean, I've definitely done that, but like
they don't buy them because they're like, oh, I can get back to this eventually, but I don't need to do it right now. It's not new or anything. But if they say it's going away, then you're going to buy it. So
there's a video that I'll link in the show notes that's worth watching from the YouTube channel Yesterworld. I don't know if y'all watch Yesterworld, but it's really good. And it's the history of the Walt Disney Home Video and the Disney Vault video that they did. It's like half an hour and it's really good. It's basically the same type thing, like same concept. It's artificial scarcity. It is that kind of bullshit. And the Yesterworld video goes into it in a really deep way that like explores why, like the business reasons why they did it in the first place and how it went and why they're not doing it anymore. So maybe there's a lesson to be learned there for Nintendo.
Well, the media landscape is like so different. Like if you bought a DVD, you can carry it forward. You don't necessarily have like a Blu-ray of it, but like that's going to work going forward. Whereas there's not an easy way to play any of those games now. Like you can emulate, but there's not an easy way that your average person is going to do. And so like that's what makes it crappy, like in comparison to the Disney Vault. Like that's artificial scarcity, but like you buy that DVD, you've got that copy of The Little Mermaid, and unless you like get it stuck in a DVD player with like a peanut butter and jelly, or scratch it up, it's
why you gotta call me out.
It's gonna work, for a while. You'll get some bit rot or whatever, or CD, whatever the CD rot, eventually probably, but it's gonna be a long time before that happens.
Yeah, and you go back to VHS.
Whereas like you're not gonna boot up an N64 like these days. Like you probably don't have one. And like, and then do you have a copy of N64? And so, Allison, I know.
You say this like I haven't been considering buying a CRT, so.
The Hello Kitty one?
Do it.
The Hello Kitty one's supposed to be like the best.
How about the Shrek one?
I don't know how it stacks up to the Hello Kitty one.
But the Hello Kitty one is very cute too, is the thing.
The Hello Kitty CRT is like highly sought after in the Smash community because it's got like really good response time or something. I don't
know that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Allison, if I've learned anything from LGR, if you go to a Goodwill, there's a good chance that there's going to be CRTs hanging out there.
See, that's the thing. I just need to get somebody to take me out to a Goodwill. So
take me out to the Goodwill.
They're selling. There are a bunch of these Hello Kitty TVs on eBay.
Oh no, how expensive? How expensive? Okay. Well, wait. Before that, how big is it? I don't actually know. Like, is it like a
16 or something?
Yeah, it's like a 13-inch.
Okay. Like an old monitor, basically.
And how much are they going for? Built-in VCR or something?
It looks like a lot of them are going for like the 180, 170 kind of thing, which is definitely more than it would cost at a Goodwill. But the issue is that it's very cute, is the thing. Is that this is a very cute TV.
Like you probably need to like research to be sure, but I'm 99% sure that the CRT, like the Hello Kitty CRT, is like highly sought after.
I'm looking it up now. Okay. But that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a Smash Bros community that they started a tier list, a community tier list, and the Hello Kitty 13-inch is right at the top, right next to the Trinitons and like some Samsung stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
That's so weird.
Who should Nintendo put next on the chopping block?
On the guillotine?
Yeah.
Well, they're already putting Pikmin apparently. Yeah. Hey.
No, they're putting out that. I mean, they did put out
that. When that game and like inevitably ends. Just all of them are on the guillotine at once.
Just put them on a SpaceX rocket.
Yeah.
Oof. over Seattle. But I don't know. I don't know if I care enough about any Nintendo properties, so I don't know if I have that deep of a well to pull from.
Who are they going to kill next? You know, is it going to be Captain Falcon? I mean, he's already like picking up on employment. So
I was literally just thinking about Captain Falcon, but I'm like, when's the last time they did that?
Like, yeah, they haven't touched F-Zero in like a 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But like, I was thinking Zelda, but they've already put out Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask as their own stuff, and also, well, pretty much all the 3D Zeldas have come out separately, right?
Yeah.
With Skyward Sword upcoming.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah,
so
like
not
3DS
that.
stuff has, but you know, like they need to. I wouldn't be surprised if they did like, you know, here's a, you know, the Master Sword collection or whatever, and then, you know, you have until midnight on December 31st or something to buy it.
On June 9th. 6/9.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Fire Emblem, no one cares. Like not like in a
never stop making
mainstream
Fire Emblem.
in a mainstream audience sense, no one cares.
Yeah.
Kirby maybe, but like I still think the mainstream audience doesn't care that much.
Sakurai would never. Sakurai would kill Smash before he would just put 1 billion sword fighters in Smash before he let them kill Kirby. I think the only other option they have would be Zelda. That's the only other thing they could do this with.
Yeah, I think so.
I could see.
But they'd have to say we're killing off Zelda and then just use pictures of Link.
Yeah. I could also maybe see like a Pokemon collection of like maybe, you know, red, blue, silver, gold, and don't know if you reach out to the next gens, but like you get your crystals, etc.
Like classic Pokemon Classic collection.
Yeah, like I could see it, but I don't know if it's that.
They wouldn't want to cannibalize their new stuff. I think those games are so beloved that, and like from the hardcore fan base at least, like I feel like that would cannibalize a lot of the new sales maybe, but they'd probably buy the new games anyway and bitch and complain, so who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Smash collection.
They'd never do that. They would never.
Mario Party collection.
That would kill Sakurai.
Yes, it would. You're right. That would be the end for Sakurai.
Sakurai is next on the chopping block with the Smash Bros. Collection.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. Well, yeah. So Mario is dead. Long live Mario.
Ahoo.
Next up on our list, speaking of mascots, Activision added Crash 4 to BattleNet.
Yeah, they did.
It's a single player game. Or I guess it's multiplayer. You can play it multiplayer. I don't know if it has online multiplayer.
Not online, yeah.
But they decided that it needed online only DRM. Because
needed it.
Everyone's favorite.
I mean, like PC games, like you're probably gonna be online. Maybe you're on a laptop and you don't have internet.
Or
it's still ridiculous.
Your internet cuts out for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That happens.
Or you've got a metered connection and you're like, I'm only connected when I need to be. Yeah, there's plenty of reasons.
Or you're in Antarctica.
Yeah, sure. Well, good luck if you're in Antarctica and want to play Crash 4 because the online DRM was cracked within 24 hours. Good job, everybody. Nice work. You did it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not surprising, but it is really funny to open BattleNet and see like Call of Duty, Overwatch, Hearthstone, Crash. It just looks so out of place with everything. But it's not surprising. I mean, like, it's just a crack. Like, how long cracks have been going forever. Like I think when I was reading about it, it's like they literally replaced one file in the directory and it worked,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Like it was just the minimal amount of piracy protection that they could have added, and it was so pointless.
Yeah. Activision, what are they doing? That just seems like a thing that was like given little time to do it, and they're like, okay, what's like the easiest thing we can implement? And also, it was the easiest thing to crack, but
Yeah.
like, who cares?
Yeah. I don't know. Who's gonna play Crash on PC as their preferred platform, anyways?
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty of people, but like, it's not going to be many because it's not on Steam, and there's still like a massive like, the people who are playing on Battle.net are there for Overwatch or WoW, Call of Duty. Like they're not there for, and Call of Duty's on Steam, isn't it? Or is it only on Battle.net?
Some Call of Duties are on Steam. I don't know if Cold War is.
Yeah, like I don't know if the modern ones are, or the contemporaries.
Looking,
but like
yeah, it's not on Steam.
Okay, yeah. So people, there are specific reasons people are going to call it's the Battle.net, and it's not for Crash.
Yeah. So whatever.
What is Crash? He's a wombat? He's
a bandicoot.
Bandicoot, right? Crash Bandicoot, right? Right. I don't know why. Right. What even is? I don't know. What is a bandicoot? Like, what is? That's not a thing.
It's Australian, so it's probably poisonous.
It's not real.
Australia?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Yeah, it's fake.
I've never seen on Australia.
Yeah. What do you believe in? Like maps? Chump. But you think the Earth is round too?
Nerd.
Next up, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, last week. When was the last week, right? What is time? Yes, last week. No, I wasn't here last week. We talked about this a while ago. The PSN's, anyways. I think it was 2 weeks ago, because I wasn't here last week. Was I?
Were you?
Maybe I was here last week. I wasn't here the week before that.
I'm titling this new segment, Andre has an existential crisis.
PSN stores there's reported they were going to be shut down for the PS3, Vita, and PSP coming this summer. And Sony confirmed it recently. That means you will not be able to buy any more games from these platforms using like PSN dollars or whatever. You won't be able to like put credit card info in and put money in and buy new games on those platforms. But you will be able to download games you currently own and I guess redeem codes. If you find a code for like Brink or something, you can download that if you put that in. But you can't buy it.
I wonder why. I wonder why it retains 3/4 of its functionality except for the last quarter. Like, are they losing a bunch of revenue by just having that available to people?
I don't know. It's like, I think it's 2,000 digital only games are going to be just like gone.
Just left out in the water.
Yeah. I think that's the number I saw, which is a bummer. Like, there's let's see. According to this Video Games Chronicle story, in total, around 2,200 digital-only games will disappear after the store closes, including 630 digital-only Vita games, 730 digital-only PS3 games,
wow,
a small number of digital-only PSP games, 293 PlayStation Minis, 336 PS2 classics, and around 260 PS1 classics.
Interesting. So not all the PS1 classics made it to PS4 then?
I guess, yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it just sucks. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've been talking about this for a year or two now, that Sony, much in contrast to what I was just saying about Phil Spencer,
Mm-hmm.
Sony seems like from their management side of things, they've just been getting shittier.
Oh, I mean, I've been saying this
Yeah,
like
and we've been
almost as
talking about
long.
this for a while.
I've been
Yeah.
saying this as long as we've been podcasting, basically. Like I haven't trusted Sony's management for ages. Like they make good hardware and I like their software, but like I don't trust
and
their
it's like,
management to be good stewards of the brand and of their games. And like as like, you know, Sony has like they make good games, they make important games, and they have a responsibility to like uphold that and be good stewards for their platform and the games on their platform.
mhm.
And you know, game preservation should be a thing they should think about. But Jim Ryan has very publicly said he don't give a fuck about that kind of stuff.
It's
you know,
not even- it's
specifically
not even-
backwards compatibility, but
It's not even just that. It's that he clearly doesn't have an understanding of it.
He just fundamentally doesn't understand, like, why would you want to play old games? It's like, well, a lot of reasons. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
I was a
this
child
huge
once,
disconnect.
unlike you, Jim Ryan, who emerged from the womb as an old man.
With crash zooms and all right from your mom. But
Fucking
or was that
Benjamin
him? Was that
Button
Jim
disease
Ryan?
ass. Yeah, Jim Ryan was Crash Zoom.
Yeah,
that was actually how he came out of the womb. Like came out of the womb, and his dad was there with the camera to take the picture, and then he was so shocked by what came out that he crash zoomed on his old man baby's face.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Curious
was a
case of Jim
time-
Ryan.
there was a time when Sony seemed like they were finally getting their shit together. Like right when they started announcing the PS4, I think.
Mhm.
Like with that event when they had like
When they told us
Shuhei
you're going to
Yoshida-
pay for PlayStation 4 or PlayStation Online. No, that was
like
that
how,
was
I
after
like how
the
that's
deal.
the one thing you pulled out of it, but yeah.
No, that was
But,
the
like-
E3 thing, but yeah.
Yeah. But like Shuhei Yoshida was there, like you had
Oh, yeah,
Jack
he's on my shit
Tretton.
list now too. So
Well, now he is, but Jack Tretton,
Yeah,
like
at
him
the
with
time.
his like mob
Adam-
ass mentality,
Adam
and then Adam
Boys and-
Boys, and Yosp.
yeah, it was a different time, and I've been saying like I haven't believed, like I didn't believe in who was the guy before Ryan? I can't even remember his name. But I didn't believe in the previous leadership, and I certainly I'm nostalgic for what's his face, the hand talk guy who had all of like the perfect like corporate public speaking gestures down pat. But
I'm gonna have to look that up because I can't remember.
yeah, but Sean
And
is
Andrew
Sean?
House?
No, it was the other guy. Is it Sean? No,
Sean Layden or whatever?
Sean Layden. There we go. Yes. I wonder what happened. But yeah, it like makes me nostalgic for Sean Layden. Like what?
I can't even
That's
find Sean
that's
Layden.
how bad. That's like SH8.
Oh yeah, there he is. Oh yes, right, him.
Yeah,
Right.
like Jim Ryan makes me nostalgic for Sean Layden, and that's bad.
Yeah.
Like I at least felt like Sean Layden could feel joy, which I don't. Have you seen the stupid what are the you sign it? What are those things called? The internet petition
Oh,
to
there you go.
remove Jim Ryan from Sony.
That's funny.
So
but
stupid.
Kaz Hirai. I'm looking through some of the notes.
Yeah,
Kaz
there we
Kaz
go.
was great.
Yeah.
That's more who I was thinking of than Yosp in some ways.
What we need is some Ridge Racer.
Yeah, that'll pull him out of this funk.
Yeah, that's you know, Gran Turismo ain't coming out anytime soon, so just throw a Ridge Racer, get a giant enemy crab or something. You know, we can make it work.
John Cadera. I don't remember John Cadera very much.
Oh
God, Ken Kutaragi. Sorry, just looking through these notes of people who have been executives there. Ken Kutaragi was a nightmare. I love him.
Yeah, father of the PlayStation, baby.
Yeah. Father of the Cell.
That too. Then they said, you're done. Anyway. Oh, did you see Sony is renaming from Sony Corp to Sony Group Corp? So they're now, because they're like in so many different things, they're like banking, mobile, like they're just like, we got to change it from Sony to Sony Group. Okay. Whatever. Yeah. It's a little silly.
I didn't see that.
Not
but
important.
Also, who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. I was like, they're changing their name. Oh, that's okay. Whatever. Next up, this news is going to impact Sony. It's going to impact Microsoft. It's going to possibly impact that new Nintendo Switch if it gets made. Foxconn has said component shortage, says component storage. This motherfucker said storage. The component shortage is going to last until mid-2022. Which means things like graphics cards, PC components in general, CPUs, motherboards probably.
Yeah, which is a pretty not reasonable. It's a pretty big reason for why there's such a drought with console manufacturing right now, and like why it's hard to get your hands on a PS5 or Xbox Series X or anything like that, because they can't make as many of them as they want to. And Foxconn is one of the major like development houses, if you want to think. Manufacturers. They're a Taiwanese one, like, and Taiwan is huge for
TSMC silicon. And but if they like, and all these companies are kind of operating at capacity too. So even if they wanted to, they couldn't make more, but they're like kind of gearing up to make more, like building new factories and stuff. But there's just like certain parts they can't make. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's if you want to buy a new console, it probably won't get, it'll get slightly easier as more people who want them like get them, and then like they're out of the market, and probably less scalping going on. I'm sure there's still some happening, but like the price has to be coming down at this point. The people who are willing to pay the exorbitant prices have to have dried up by now. But maybe once more games start hitting, like once Ratchet comes out or something like that, maybe things will jump back up for a little bit.
I mean, that's why I have not put in any effort to try and find one, because the games don't seem to be there yet, or nothing exclusive seems to be there for me, at least.
Yeah. You've got like a 3080, 3090. What did you get?
Yeah, I have a 3080. I have a strong PC, so I don't.
Yeah.
I'm fine for multiplat.
Yeah. If all you're doing is playing Final Fantasy 14 anyway, you're probably pretty good on a PC.
Hey, I've got it with some mods that make it look real nice. So
the PS5 version, we don't have this on the news. The PS5 version of Final Fantasy 14 is going to hit beta this month. Like I think April 13th.
Yeah, same day that 5.5 Part 1 launches.
If you want to opt into that, it's going to have better load times, better textures, some other stuff. It's beta, so like could be buggy, but yeah, which would be nice. But you'll still have to wait in like instances for people, but whatever. Yeah. Well, but I mean like wait for people to load in and whatnot, and just like have to stand there the little pen.
Allison, are you playing it on PS5 currently? Like PS4 version on PS5?
Yep.
Nice. Are you gonna? I imagine you'll upgrade to that beta when it comes out then.
Will do.
That's where I'm playing too. I thought about buying on PC just to like have the better control, but I was like, do I want to spend $30?
I really want to hear how y'all handle some of the late game stuff. If one of you plays like one of the more intense classes, like a summoner or a dancer or something like that, how you do that on a controller? Because
I'll see. I like playing it. Just like I like having. Like just sitting on the couch playing it all, but I'm interested to see how some of that control, like more difficult controls, are gonna get.
Yeah, because like I use a controller and keyboard, like where I take my hand off the controller and then hit key combos on my keyboard really fast and then get back to it. So,
well, we'll see. Last news story. Summer Games Done Quick, the perennial favorite, Games Done Quick, is going to be back this summer online. They will not be doing an in-person event this year, which is still smart.
Yeah, I like that they're, being safe.
And that's July 4th to 11th. Always a good time. Some real good stuff is possible when they're doing these home streams. Like, you get exposed to a lot of streamers in like their natural element, so they're able to do their weird goofy stream shit, like the guy who's like speedrunning Fear or something, and then he was like, okay, now we just have to wait a little bit, and spun his camera around and had another TV, and he was doing a second speed run on the side.
Really
funny. There's a lot of fun, and it's nice that it kind of opens GDQ up to more people.
Yes,
because I mean, a lot of people do have to do the whole I don't know, raise money to get travel there, or
can't travel, and so you can get a lot more people, and like different people playing different games, and stuff like that, which is really cool, really neat. Sadly, I think it'll be too late to get Resident Evil 8 Resident Evil Village in there, but I'm trying to think, has anyone done like certain games they won't play just because they're like, they've got swearing or like maybe too much violence in some of them. I think like there's some stuff that's like, you're not going to see Leisure Suit Larry at Summer Games Done Quick, for example. No Hoonie Pop, but I'm trying to think if I've seen Resident Evil 7 at...
Oh, it definitely has.
Okay.
Yeah,
because there's one where they randomized it, I think.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they did do the randomizer. You're right for 7.
Okay, that's good. Because those games.
Yeah, that was because I just remember that being particularly a fun one because they're just because it's just or like the I remember whichever Resident Evil 7 run I watched was really good because it was just very, I don't know, the runner was very knowledgeable and very clearly knew the game very well.
Oh, actually, you know what? I don't think it was I think it was in 2018. It was Carcinogen, and it wasn't that it was a randomizer. It was the mode he was playing on randomized certain elements.
Yeah, he was playing on like the super, like the hardest level where it does some randomized stuff. That's a good run. If anybody wants to get into watching speedruns, I think that's a particularly good one to watch because it's like it's both like memorization, but also there's a little bit of randomization. And Carcinogen is really a really fun runner to watch.
It's thinking on the fly and like technical skill, knowledge of the game, all that kind of stuff. It's
almost improvisation.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a perfect storm of like things you have to be good at. So I can't imagine being, like it as far as speedruns go, those ones where there's very specific knowledge of the game, plus you have to be able to improvise and do stuff on the fly. It's very fun.
Yeah. And
so cool.
My favorite streamer, for at least for Resident Evil stuff, Bakba Soup, is doing a entire like deep like lore playthrough of the Resident Evil series leading up to Resident Evil Village coming out. He's going to deep dive on every game and the story of everything and not just speed through it, because typically he speed runs and he'll do like 8-hour marathons where he plays like 9 games or something.
Wow. Cool.
But this time it's he's gonna go through each one meticulously and painstakingly.
Yeah, there's a couple speedrunners I keep an eye on, just like what they're doing with whatever. One of them is Carrie, the one who she does the Celeste stuff. It's been great. So yeah, there's lots of great stuff. SGDQ is the best.
Yeah.
Well, GDQ is the best.
Yeah.
So,
I think.
Oh, sorry. Please go for it, Allison.
Oh, it's just one of those things where I don't watch a whole lot of speedrunning except for GDQ, which I watch a lot of GDQ whenever those are airing. I think that's just because it's just such a fun atmosphere, and they always like to focus on both skill and also showing off some really fun, interesting stuff. So I'm excited to see what Summer Games Done Quick this year is like.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and now they've done it online a few times, so like hopefully it'll be smoother.
Yeah. The one last thing I'll say while we're talking about streaming, that Ludwig stream with the subathon where people were donating and it was adding 10 seconds to his clock. I think we talked about that either last week. It must have been last week. And he was like 10 or something days into it by that point. It's still going on right now.
What is this thing? What
were you not
doing?
here for this? It's a subathon where basically if people subscribe, it adds 10 seconds onto his clock. And it got up to like, he was like, okay, well, maybe this will give us like 24 hours. But yeah, it's been going for over 2 weeks at this point.
It's like 10 seconds to like to his stream time or
to his clock. Like there's a countdown clock of like how long is left of the stream. And yeah. And
so he just can't sleep.
No,
is he sleeping on stream?
Yeah. He's sleeping on stream, and then like he has moderators, like roommates and stuff like that, that are filling in the other times. And it's great because like he said that like half of all the money that gets made is going straight to charity, and then of the other half, like probably about another half of that is going to his mods and stuff like that, the people who are keeping the stream alive, basically. So it's not really a like get rich quick scheme or anything like that. He's being pretty straightforward. Like he's doing good things with it. But yeah, it's been like over 2 weeks straight.
Nice.
It's still happening right now.
That's interesting. All right. Well, that's going to do it for news this week. Where I said let's do a short one because I'm waking up early tomorrow, and we did a short one. We did it.
Nicely done.
They said it couldn't be done. But what can be done? Oh yeah.
There's a new trailer for Space Jam that just came out.
Yep.
I'll check that out later.
What can be done is you can send an email to gaming@fix.space where you solicit us for recruitment codes for Final Fantasy 14 and or I don't know who should Nintendo kill next. Write us to tell us your thoughts on Nintendo's next execution.
Where are they going to roll that guillotine up to?
Yeah, and how do they do it?
What do you mean? How do they do it?
I mean, who are they killing and how do they execute?
Oh,
like firing squad, electric chair, injection, like, you know.
Comically large anvil.
Yeah, and big Chungus.
Is it all like Danganronpa style executions too, where it's like
send him to space?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. They put Kirby. Kirby eats until he can't eat anymore, and then he eats more, and then he explodes. So yeah, that's
put on a giant piano.
Gaming@fix.space. Or you can find us on Twitter @FixPodcasts and twitch.tv/GamingFyx. You can find me, Andre Cole, aka your partner's favorite King of the Hill character, on Twitter @Coolslaw, COOLSL4W, where you can also solicit me for a recruitment code for Final Fantasy 14 and the critically acclaimed Heavensward in the free trial. Allison, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @WRITERSERENYTY. And
Alex.
I'm going to be hanging out with kitty cats this weekend.
Yay!
I'm a cat. I'm a kitty cat. And a dance, 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 and a dance, dance, dance. I'm a cat. I'm a kitty cat. And I podcast cast, and I podcast cast.
True. On all accounts.
Thanks for joining me. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, with another episode. Goodbye, everybody.
Stay wet, Andre.
Oh. You best believe I'll be staying wet. I am the wettest gamer. All you other gamers, stay wet. That's an order.
Bye.
Goodbye.